4 things to consider before you settle your personal injury claim. We're going to cover 4 key topics in this that you should think about really before you even get close to settling your personal injury claim. Negotiations are so important when going about any personal injury claim, no matter if it's from a slip and fall, a car accident, or anything else. Each time you negotiate, you're making a representation to the insurance company about what you're willing to settle for and what your claim's really worth, what the theories are behind what you've put forward. So you have to think about that at every step. When it comes to a personal injury claim, one of the aspects that you need to consider are disbursements and legal fees. Now, if you're negotiating on your own, you may not have a whole bunch of disbursements and you wouldn't have legal fees. But if you do have a lawyer or are thinking about a lawyer, it's a cost that will be involved in a negotiation. A disbursement is an expense incurred by a law firm to help build your case. Commonly, these disbursements are medical records expenses, so think your hospital file, your doctor file, getting the records from the physio clinic or the massage clinic, or perhaps getting a police report, or ordering records from any external provider. These are called disbursements, and in my view, they should be paid on top of the damages. So your claim itself is your damages plus your disbursements. Another item to add into a negotiation is legal fees. You had to hire a lawyer for your personal injury claim. The other side should partially compensate you for the fact that you had to hire a lawyer. If you were never in the accident, you wouldn't need a lawyer in the first place. So you have your damages, you have your disbursements, and then you have another sum to compensate for legal fees. These are pieces that come together. If you don't have all these pieces as part of your negotiation, it may not end up that you are fairly compensated for your claim. And of course, if you forget to add these pieces in until later, it'll be harder to negotiate with the insurance company because you suddenly emerged with more damages than you had before. So stepping back from the technicalities of what should be included, the bigger question perhaps is, what's fair? And when I'm thinking about fair, I have to think about the short term and the long term, and have I really captured the true impact of this injury on my client? So if you're going about this on your own, think about what's going to happen in your life currently and in the long term. And if you can't do that accurately, you should ask yourself whether you should really be negotiating at all. I spend an immense amount of effort and time reviewing medical records, talking to medical people for their opinions on diagnosis, on prognosis. We are constantly thinking about injury, loss, harm, loss of function, and what that's going to mean for our client in the future. And not just on the client, but on their family too, on what's most important in their lives, at home, at work, their hobbies. Ultimately, what did this accident do to bring them from their high function before to something lesser? We're supposed to compensate that gap. If you can't sort out what that gap is, you may not actually settle your claim for a fair sum. So this is something you have to really think about before negotiating, and certainly before settling. One of the items that's commonly missed by self-represented litigants and even by some personal injury lawyers is a proper accounting of future care costs. Thankfully, so many of us have access to provincial health benefits. We can go to the hospital, we can see our doctor. We don't have to pull out our credit card to pay for that. But that's not all the treatment that people need. Chiropractors, physiotherapists, massage therapists, acupuncture, osteo, all of these things are not typically covered by our public healthcare system. So who's going to come up with the money for that? If you don't have coverage through work or through a spouse or a partner or from somewhere else, accident benefits isn't going to last forever if it's applicable to your car accident claim. Where's the money going to come from for the things that you need? Many of my clients have an ongoing need for maintenance treatment or to keep them in check. Some of my clients have spent hundreds or even thousands of dollars every month to just keep the function where they are, to be able to go to work, to be able to spend time with their family. And so if you don't factor that into your negotiation when you're trying to resolve your personal injury claim, you may find yourself in a pretty bad place, a place where you need help, where you need to invest money into services, but you can't afford them anymore. Don't make that mistake. You want to ensure that you've properly considered your future and your future needs for coverage and treatment before you start negotiating. And finally, you only have one chance to settle your personal injury claim. Your negotiation can come from some time. It can go on for days, months, years, of course. But once you settle your claim, that's it. You can't open it again. You can't call the insurance company and say, I forgot about expenses X, Y, and Z, or I need more treatment, or my doctor said I might need surgery, or I might need to be off work. Once it's done, it's done. The insurance company is paying you an amount of money so that you sign a release, giving up your claim, giving up your rights. You can't ask them to open the claim again and pay you more money. So if you have any hesitancy about what your claim is worth, what's fair for your claim, what those future long-term costs are, and ultimately what your pain and suffering is worth, what that impact is in your life, you need to pause. You need to think about whether it's right to negotiate right now. As a personal injury lawyer, it is my job to evaluate cases, to sort out what they're worth and make sure my clients get fairly compensated. I'm worried about time, of course, as well. Personal injury claims don't last forever, and there's limitation periods that apply. If you're worried about how much time it takes to negotiate, if you're worried about your legal rights, ask us questions. Ask us about your legal rights and limitation periods that apply to your claim. Don't run out of time because you're concerned about how long it takes to get a fair value for your case. Limitation periods apply to all personal injury cases. If you're running up to a limitation period or you don't know what that is, you need to ask for help. We can file paperwork at the court so that you preserve your rights and can keep negotiating on your own or with us to make sure that it's fair. Ultimately, you don't want to lose the right to make a claim because you've made a mistake when it comes to the law. My name's Jeff Mitchell. I'm a personal injury lawyer and owner of Nova Injury Law. I help injury victims every day to successfully advance their cases and ultimately settle for fair results. For me, it's all about ensuring that my clients are protected, that their families are protected, and that they have what they need to go forward so they don't run out of money, so they can have the best quality life possible. If you're concerned about that, just ask your questions. We'll get you answers today. And if I'm the right fit for you, if I can help you, I certainly will. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.